What's up guys, Shay Stevens here, PDGA number 77522, and I just missed the mando. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what mandatory routes are and how you should play them.
A mandatory route is used to restrict the path a disc travels to reach the target. Like out-of-bounds areas, mandatories can be used to protect the environment and park goers. However, mandatories are also commonly added by tournament directors or even players during casual rounds to increase the difficulty of a hole. Mandatory routes will be indicated by mandatory objects, normally referred to as mandos, and these are typically trees, poles, or some other distinct object that is preferably tall. The mandatory line extends infinitely vertically, so even attempts to throw over the mando must pass on the proper side. The objects are normally marked in some manner. Here we see two trees marked with brightly colored bands. Other common marking methods include arrows as well as signs. Please also be aware that mandos may also exist horizontally to restrict the height of the disc's flight. These usually take the form of banners and signs. While often obvious, players should always consult the signage or their caddy book for the mandatory route. A player is deemed to have thrown a prohibited route when their disc passes on the incorrect side of the mando and comes to rest across the mandatory line. This line should be defined, and although you cannot see it in this picture, take note of the white pole on the right, which has a cord running from it to the middle of the mando tree. There is another on the left out of view. Like an OB line, the disc must be completely across the line to rule that it missed the mando, and these lines extend infinitely. If a disc crosses a mandatory line on the incorrect side of a mando, but then travels back across on the same side, the disc is considered to have not cleared the mando. The player must still attempt to properly navigate the mandatory route on the next throw. No penalty stroke is assessed. If the disc travels backwards, but does not pass on the same side as initially missed, the disc is considered to have missed the mandatory and traveled a prohibited route. If there is no mandatory line marked, you trace a line from your lie to the center of the mando on the incorrect side, and then draw a line perpendicular to it. That will serve as the mando line. In the event of a double mando with no marked lines, you will do this twice as I have illustrated. Two final notes about mandos. First, unless you are in the circle putting, the closest mando with a mandatory line that you would cross if you were throwing directly to the basket is considered the target, not the basket, and should be the reference for marking your lie, taking your stance or relief, and so on. Lastly, a missed mando is typically your first offense on a throw and supersedes any later penalties. So, if you miss a mando and your disc happens to also go out of bounds, the missed mando is the first offense and you will play from that lie and not the OB. Now that I've talked at length about mandatory routes, let's see what your options are if you miss one.
Okay, so the first option you have is one you have for every throw, and that is to abandon your last throw and come back and play from your previous lie. So I would be laying here plus a penalty, throwing in this case my fourth shot. My drive came here, second shot missed the mando, third's the penalty, fourth I'm playing from here. Just know, if there is no drop zone, you have to play from your previous lie. So make sure you check the signage, check the caddy book, know if there is a drop zone. If you're playing and you miss a mando and you walk up and find there is no drop zone, your group would just decide, where's your best lie, or where, to the best of ability, where was your previous lie, and you would rethrow from there again. Okay guys, we've reached the drop zone. This is our second option if available, and honestly, 9 times out of 10, you are going to find a drop zone paired with a mandatory. And honestly, it just takes let's stop the tee shot really, it takes a real evil, mean course designer or a tournament director to make a mandatory without a drop zone, because it can just get real brutal, and I can't think for the life of me who would just be that cool to do this to people. Anyway, the drop zone is usually marked. It should be on the signage. It's going to be distinct. It's going to be marked with flags, paint, wood, whatever, and it's basically a mini tee pad. So after your penalty stroke, you'll be playing your next throw from here, and you just got to make sure that your footing is within the boundaries of the drop zone. You don't want to be in front of it, and you will just play your shot from here. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And as always, take care.
Thank you for watching this guide on mandatory routes. If you haven't already, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this and other disc golf content. Also, the 150 subscriber giveaway is still ongoing. I'll be taking submissions until Wednesday. A link to that video will be down in the description. Lastly, thank you to my sponsor. For all your disc golf needs, check out Bria Disc Golf.